Hey guys, we're taking a look at Doge versus the USDT and trying to get an idea of what to expect from this crazy meteoric rise of Dogecoin into the top, I believe now it's top 3 market cap. And one thing I noticed on the log chart, we have this trend line that started around April 11th, and it has just climbed up this trend line to today. It got overvalued here, but as you can see, it came right back to it and even touched it again when it came down and hit this 15, 16 cents on this day here, and then kind of evened out and started climbing up it again. So if the assumption is that it keeps climbing up this log trend line, that we could see $1 by May 13th. Actually, let's see here. May 14th. So that's a pretty bold assumption because this is a very aggressive trend line that we are seeing here. Very aggressive. So we'll see what happens here. Right now, it's kind of hugging the trend line. Let's zoom into an hourly chart and take a better look at what's been going on here. So we've seen it hit this trend line 1, 2, 3 times here, hit it back here on May 7th, climbed up it here for a while, and then back here, like as it got overvalued, it came back, touched the trend line, bounced off of it, and then came back and started hugging it again. So I'm pretty confident this trend line is pretty strong. It's just a matter of how strong is it? Can it keep up with can Doge keep up with this trend line is the real question. And I think we have to keep an eye on this because if it starts to fall through it, based on the fact that it hasn't really fallen through it as any consequence back here. So if I see a close kind of like here, I start to think it's going to pull back even harder. We possibly could see it come back to 49 cents, 50 cents. Or if it really started falling, we could probably see it come back to 34 cents, test that support. And then I think at a minimum, it could go to 23 cents. But that would take a massive sell-off. And we would have to see it make a definitive close below this trend line first to even start even considering that. I think really it would probably hold around 50 cents just based on kind of these holds here. So that's kind of what happens if it goes below this trend line. And if it continues to hold this trend line, we could see it kind of just climb up it, and it would have to break through this resistance that, see, as it played resistance here, played support here, and the resistance here. It would break through this resistance, then have to go through the all-time high again. And that could happen anywhere around like the May 10th or so. So that's my look at Dogecoin. And there's so much to think about when it comes to Dogecoin too, because you're also thinking about outside things that aren't related to the chart. But at the end of the day, the chart hasn't been wrong. This trend line has held pretty strong throughout this entire thing. Even after it got overvalued here, it still came back to the trend line. And you want to acquire at the trend line and then wait for it to get overvalued on the trend line. So if that's the case, acquiring here is not a bad idea, especially with this holding as support here. So if you could get it back down in the 62 cent range, maybe that's a good idea. Again, this is not investment advice. This is just me just looking at a chart and saying what I see. But it's an interesting chart. The real question comes into, are there enough buyers left? And what happens tonight with SNL? Does that even bump it up more? Does it bring in more retail? Who knows? Anybody's guess, but I'm just going to look at the chart and guess based on the chart that if it's touching this trend line, it's a buying opportunity, and go from there until it breaks below it. And if it breaks below it, I probably would sell and then try to look to reacquire it back around the 23 cent range or the 50 cent range. I probably would try to acquire. Here's what I'm probably going to try to do. If it breaks below this trend line, try to acquire it at 50 cent range with a stop loss at like 47. And then if it falls through that, I don't really know if this is going to be if this 33 cent range is going to be good enough to hold it. So I probably would look for it to fall to 23 again. And then from there, we probably would see a sweeping come back up again. So that's my look at Doge. I hope this helps you guys, and I look forward to making another video for you soon. Please do not forget to subscribe and follow, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And as we can see, Doge is starting to test this resistance line here. It'll be interesting to see if it busts through it. Because if it does, we'll probably see new all-time highs tonight. So there we go. All right, talk to you guys later.